Now we have here analyzing distributions. So in this section, we are going to demonstrate on how to create frequency, relative, and cumulative distributions for the datasets. Distributions are very useful in interpreting and analyzing data. A distribution describes the overall variability of the observed values of a variable. So in this section, we introduce additional ways of analyzing distributions. So we have here percentile. A percentile is the value of a variable at which a specified or approximate percentage of observations are below that value. The pth percentile tells us the point in the data where approximately the p% of the observations have values less than the pth percentile. Hence, the approximately 100 minus p% of the observations have values greater than the pth percentile. Now, the location of the pth percentile is denoted by L of p is equal to p divided by 100 times n plus 1. So to illustrate, given the 85th percentile for the home sales data, we are going to arrange the data in ascending order and compute the 85th location using the formula AP divided by 100 times n plus 1 is equal to 11.05. So we have here the illustration of the percentile. We have here the 85th percentile, and the formula is equals 85 divided by 100 multiplied by the count of populations plus 1. Okay, we have count of observations which is plus added by 1. So we have here 11.05. So this is the formula is the manual getting of the 85th percentile. And the interpretation of this is that 85th percentile is 5% of the way between the value in position 11 and the value is 12. Okay. So to determine the 85th percentile of home sales data is, we have here, the value in the 11th position is 298,000 and the value in the 12th position is 456,250. And here, 305,912.5 represents the 85th percentile of the home sales data. So how to get the 85th percentile is, we have here 298,000 plus 0.05 of the largest minus 298,000. Okay, so here, okay, so that's equal to, we have here, that's equal to the 11th position plus, okay, 0.05 multiplied by the 12th position, that's equal to 350. Sorry. Minus na pa rin siya. To be subtracted by the 11th position. Ay, sorry. Alright. Okay. 8. Ay, sorry. The the remaining, we have to correct this one, multiplied by the difference between the 12th percentile or the 12th position, 12th position minus the 11th position value. Okay, multiplied by 0.05 added to the 11th position. This is 11. Now let us try to review. Okay. Oops. The 11th position is here. Okay, the 11th position is here plus 0.05 multiplied by the difference between the 12th position value minus the 11th position value. Okay, so we have here 305,912.50. Okay, so this is the manual way of getting the 85th percentile. And for using the Excel formula, we have here the function percentile.exec returns the kth percentile of values in range where k is in the range inclusive. So the range of cells, so we have here the data set and the percentile 0.85. Now let us see the results. So we have the same results using the Excel formula and using the manual getting of 85th percentile. Now for the quartile, it is often desirable to divide data into 4 parts, with each part containing approximately 1/4 or the 25% of the observations. So these division points are referred to as the quartiles and are defined as follows, like Q sub 1 is equal to the first quartile or the 25th percentile. Q sub 2 is the second quartile or the 50th percentile, and this can also be called as the median. Okay, we can use also the median for the second quartile, and for the third quartile, this is the 75th percentile. So to demonstrate the quartiles, the home sales data are again arranged in ascending order, and the difference between the third and first quartiles is referred to as the interquartile range or IQR. So we have here the home sales that is arranged in ascending order. Okay, so this is already arranged in ascending order, and we have to get the quartile for this. Now to get the first, second, and third quartile, we have here quartile second, and third. All right. So we have the formula equals quartile. We have many options here, and we have to choose the quartile.exec, that is returns the quartile of a dataset based on a percentage value from 0, 1 exclusive. Okay, so the data set, we have here the arranged data of 12 observations, and for the first quartile, we have here to choose 1. And we have 2 for the median, and third is for the third quartile, and we have to select 1. So we have here 139,000. And for the second quartile, we have here is equal to quartile.exec and the range of data sets, and choose 2 for the median. Okay, so we have here, and for the third quartile is equal to quartile.exec and the range of data sets, and choose the third quartile, 75th percentile. Okay, we have to choose 3. Okay, enter. And to get the interquartile range, or the IQR, we have here the IQR, which is the third quartile minus the first quartile, the IQR. This is equal to the third IQR minus the first IQR. Okay. Okay, so we have here the interquartile range is the difference between the third and first quartiles. Now we have here the z-scores, which allows us to measure the relative location of a value in the dataset. More especially, a z-score helps us determine how far a particular value is from the mean relative to the dataset standard deviation. Okay, so this is often called the standardized value. And we have here, so we have a sample of n observations with the values denoted by x sub 1 up to x sub n, and assume that the sample mean x bar and the sample standard deviation is s and are already computed. So associated with each value, x sub I is another value called the z-score, and this equation shows how the z-score is computed for each observation, so each x sub I. So z sub I is equal to x sub I minus x bar divided by the s, where z sub I is the z-score of x sub I, and x bar is the sample mean, and s is the standard sample standard deviation. Now, this table shows the z-scores of the class size data, wherein we have 5 observations, and second column shows the deviation about the mean. Okay, the deviation with about the mean, in which the data is already calculated here. Okay, the deviation about the mean. And the z-score, that's equal to Okay, the deviation about the mean divided by 8. Okay, so z-score is the deviation about the mean divided by the standard deviation. So that's equal to, for the first observation, we have 0.25. The second observation is the z-score is 1.25. Third is negative 0.25. Fourth is 0.25. And the fifth observation has a z-score of negative 1.5. Now, for class size data, which has a mean of 44 and the standard deviation, which is 8, the observations with a value greater than mean, so the z-score is greater than 0. And for the observations with a value less than the mean, so the z-score is less than 0. So as you can see, the observation, which is 42, and take note the mean is 44. So the z-score is less than 0. So the observations with negative values are 42 and 32. And the values 42 and 32 are less than or lesser than the mean of 44. So they have the negative z-score. Okay. So the z-score for each of the selling price is we have here. Okay. So using the standardized function. Now showing the z-score computation of our data, we have here the z-score, and the manual formula is equal to the deviation about the mean minus the standard deviation. Okay, we have to stick this one on this cell. So apply absolute reference. Okay, so minus the mean, the observation to get the z-score is observation minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So we have to get the observation minus the mean. Okay, observation minus the mean divided by okay, we have to enclose it in parentheses. That we have the observation minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Okay, so we have 0.25, or you can use this one, deviation about the mean divided by the standard deviation. And you can copy the formula. Okay, so we have here those values having a z-score of negative are those observations that are lesser than the mean. Or using the Excel formula, okay, so we have here okay, to get the z-score, we have here the standardized formula that returns a normalized value from a distribution characterized by a mean standard deviation. Okay, and there are three parameters for standardized: x, mean, and the standard deviation. X is the value of the observation. The mean we have here, and the standard deviation is this one. And scroll down. So we have here